What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel, The Better Mark. We're going to get into tonight's NBA slate. A lot of games coming in, and this is going to be a very important video because for those of you that bet the NBA, this is one of the events that goes around the association that you guys are all going to want to be aware of because what we're looking at, guys, is the All-Star break and kind of this transition, this turnaround where we shift gears into the All-Star break. So it's going to be very important to understand exactly what I have to tell you. But let's get down into it. And first, guys, if you like the NBA, you like sports gambling, you like to bet on sports, this is the exact channel for you guys. Make sure you all are subscribed down below. Videos every single day. We're going to talk sports, air it out. A lot of good things coming on the channel. We're going to be doing some giveaways as well as I'm going to get a Patreon up and running where we all can share some community plays and really get the discussion going, okay? But in this, I'm just going to break down the games. I'm going to go into last night's plays, and I'm going to give you guys my thoughts as we move forward into tonight's contest, okay? Apologize. I'm out of the office. I'm mobile, so I wanted to get this done earlier than later, guys, because this is why it's oh so important. This is where we're going to see a ton of inactives, right? Late scratches, early scratches. LeBron, just when they finished playing last night against the Detroit Pistons, basically announced himself out of the game for tonight's contest. So that's what it comes down to, is following and tracking the moves. This is where you see a lot of people really just start packing their bags for Vegas, right? All-Star weekend, they're going to be looking at for a little R&R, and now this is something where you're going to see the lines really take effect and take that shape, okay? So we're going to get into the first game and the first play of the evening, right? We're going to get into New York Knicks at the Orlando Magic. Now, the Knicks are in a very interesting spot because they got to win a game. They got to get the momentum back before the All-Star break. They don't have Randall. We know what's going on with Hartenstein, as well as Jalen Brunson, with talking, about the blown call, right? The protest that is going underway with that contest. The Knicks are hungry, man. They want to get a win. This is a perfect spot for them. This is my first official play of tonight's contest. This is where we're going to take the Knicks, getting 3.5 on the road. The Orlando Magic, a horrible back-to-back team. We know they play good defense, but even being at home, guys, I'm going to be taking the New York Knicks plus 3.5. This is kind of a not a hammer play, but a favorite play for me within tonight's plays. So as always, guys, this is the early look, so there could be some injuries along the way that end up deterring me from taking that 3.5, but I'm going to take the 3.5 on the road, okay? Miami and Philadelphia, not really into that one. Miami's kind of hurt me from last night. Ended up being the only loss of last night's picks was the Heat destroying and dismantling the Milwaukee Bucks. And that's all I'm going to say, guys. Kevin Love was at it. Duncan Robinson was at it. Tyler Herro was at it. Just unsoundly surge of three-point. It was a barrage of three-pointers in that game. It was something where they never had a chance, and the Bucks really can't compete when all they're doing is jacking threes and they're going in. And I didn't look at the actual statistics, but correct me if I'm wrong, but they had to be well over 50, 60% within their 3 points. All right. Atlanta at Charlotte. That's a no play for me. I would have to tend to leave with the Atlanta Hawks. Charlotte's banged up. Their roster's depleted. They're just begging to get into the All-Star break with what little they have left. This is where we look at this number, guys. 7 points. Atlanta will be laying on the road. They're a scrappy bunch, and they can score points. So if Charlotte can hang with Atlanta, they might cover at 7. But if I had to give an official lean, it would be taking Atlanta as long as the likes of Trae Young and Dejounte Murray are playing, okay? And then we're going to Brooklyn at Boston, right? A rematch. They're going to stay with this one, guys. Tatum expected to have 50 plus in last night's game after that incredible first half performance he had. But that's where we saw Tatum, really take control. And this is why I don't take these huge spreads, guys, because we saw that number creep down to 8, and Boston, once again, let a team in late. So Boston is a great first half play for me within these contests, but I do not like taking them for the full game for that reason. If you look at their last 10 games, they do let teams come back into the game late. So that's going to be a no play for me as well, especially 13.5. It has blowout potential, but like I said, guys, I'm not willing to take Boston in a full game yet, especially in this All-Star game wishy-washy spot. So, and then we're going to get into the Chicago Bulls and the Cleveland Cavaliers, okay? This is one of my favorite plays as well. I think this number is way too low. It's going to move, so if you guys are liking this and you want to tail it, make sure you guys get on it early. But we're going to look at Donovan Mitchell, over 25.5 points, minus 120. I think you can find out there. That number will creep up. I guarantee you that. The over-under is at 224, so expecting kind of a lopsided finish, especially with a point total within double digits projected victory for the Cavaliers. But this is one where Mitchell, he plays well against the Bulls, so we're going to just trust in that. He's been really crazy in terms of statistics and putting up points, a lot of 40-point plus games as of recent. And this is where we're going to get into Mitchell, guys. And he's been jacking 10 threes. So, as long as we get 4 of those go down, I really think there's going to be no issue. We couple that with the free throw line. And I know Chicago is a good defensive team. Well, so is Cleveland. So when you get in these back and forth games where everything likes to slow down and they want to get you in a phone booth, Cleveland really shines tough when they have that number one defense, and Mitchell will have the ball in his hands the majority of the time, okay? So that'll be my second play. Then we'll get into Indiana at Toronto. Guys, this will be a no play for me. This is one where it's basically a coin flip in my personal opinion. If Indiana was at home, that might be something a little bit swaying me one direction or another. But 245 over under, that is a crazy total for this matchup as well. But it's just one I'm going to have crossed off this list. Okay, and then we're going to get into a couple other games. Washington at New Orleans. Look at the metrics, guys. Washington has a very, very strong inclination, just as well as some of the opposite of the Celtics. They like to come back. They like to backdoor a lot of teams. And this is one where Washington, a young bunch on the road, taking on the New Orleans Pelicans. I'm not scared to do it, guys. I'm going to look for a 13 out there. I'm going to lock in Washington plus 13. If I can find it, I'm going to take that number at New Orleans. We know what New Orleans is capable of. They can beat any team by 20, and they can lose by 20. This is one where I'm not even scared to sprinkle a little bit on the Washington money line. It's kind of a gamble for me, guys, but this is where I see some value in it, guys. I think Zion Williamson has the potential just to lay an egg, and he fits into that camp where, it's something where that rest factor makes a difference, right? He is already thinking about Vegas. I can guarantee you that, guys. And we're going to get into one of those, kind of segue that into one of the most featured games, guys, where this is probably my favorite pick of tonight's contest. So I'm not officially going to play that Washington plus 13, but it's just kind of a home run hit for me, guys. I'm going to sprinkle a little bit of pizza money on that Washington money line, okay? It's just something where I'm just going to go with a gamble in that regard. Sometimes I like to throw a little bit of money at these heavy money line underdogs in these situations. I just like that spot, okay? Houston, Memphis, not really interested in this one. I don't really find an edge in any of that. San Antonio, Dallas, the Battle of Dallas, or Battle of Texas. We see exactly what's going on within Luka having an outstanding year. Wembanyama, incredible numbers there. But guys, this is one where it truly is a coin flip. You really start to see these NBA games, guys, as I really feel they take these games, the NBA season, and they chop it up into about 3-4 different seasons. And I think right now, guys, as we lead into the All-Star break, the odds makers, they have the numbers exactly where they're supposed to be. I mean, look at last night, for example, Boston and Brooklyn. You're watching a team up 20 points at halftime. And what they do, they push right on the number 8. So that's why it's very crucial. Half points mean a lot in NBA. Late game free throws, as well as just things outside of your control, guys. And that's why a lot of people don't watch the NBA until the last 2, 3, 4 minutes of the game, okay? But this is a no play for me as well. I think this 11 is right on the head. Maybe a possible lean towards San Antonio in this situation, but it's a no play. Sacramento, Denver. Sacramento off a back-to-back, playing the Phoenix Suns in a very strong contest. Denver is -5. I think that number's right where it's at again. I don't think there's any value in taking any of that. Maybe the over 229.5 would be a potential lean in that game. That's a fun one to watch, though, so I'm going to have that one definitely on my TV. Detroit at Phoenix. Okay, another one. Phoenix off a back-to-back, getting ready for the All-Star break. Detroit, losing to LA, staying on the West Coast, -13. Another big number I'm not comfortable laying. So we're noticing this theme where these numbers are right where they need to be, and that's where I'm kind of having a pause and really don't want to get involved with any of these combinations, okay? And then the last two guys, Lakers at Utah. Utah is a very flashy team. LeBron already said he's out. I would probably lean towards taking the Utah Jazz in the situation. More to play for, more of that. They want it more. Lakers are already penciled in for Vegas. I think that's where you see a lot of those guys start to really look ahead to the All-Star break. And that's where if I had to take a potential lean, it would be taking Utah minus the 5.5. They have potential actually in this situation, in my opinion, to potentially blow out the Lakers in this situation. We've seen it before where the Lakers come out flat. They're looking ahead, and it's definitely a spot where I would entertain the Utah Jazz, but not an official play quite yet. All right, and then this is probably one of my top plays of the night. We're going to stay on the West Coast. The Clippers Kawhi Leonard out, taking on probably one of the hottest teams, Golden State Warriors. I'm actually going to be looking for a couple of futures within the Warriors winning the Western Conference. Really starting to peak. Steph Curry's playing on all cylinders. I just saw a fascinating read where it was a push from ESPN that the Warriors were actually pursuing LeBron James before the trade deadline. So very fascinating stuff to understand their mindset, shifting gears away a little bit from Klay Thompson, getting more into Kuminga, and he's playing outstanding in the starting five. Steve Kerr, great coach. They have the pedigree. I think that's something where, they're definitely going to look at this from a different approach. We all know how James Harden feels about Vegas. He's already got his billfolds out, and I guarantee you he already has his bags packed. So that's kind of what we're looking at within this game. I think it's going to be too much of a look ahead for the Clippers, especially with Kawhi Leonard, Golden State at home. It's going to be too much, so I want to lock this one in. If you can find a 2.5 out there in the market, I think we're flashing 3, but I will be taking the Golden State Warriors at -2.5 and or -3. So that about does it for today's plays, picks, and predictions. And just to recap, guys, we split the pair last night. We did not get the Milwaukee Bucks dud home, but we did end up covering by the Minnesota Timberwolves double digits. So all good stuff happening in the association. Everybody stay safe out there. Let's try to cash some tickets before the All-Star break as well. And we'll see you guys tomorrow for another video. Thanks, everyone.